Welcome back to Tap the Art Project. The artist I'd like to share with you today is Faith Ringgold, artist, author, and activist. There are three words that I'd like to define for you: artist, author, and activist. An artist is someone who makes art. An author is someone who writes. An activist is someone who takes action to bring about change in the pursuit of justice. Now let's begin. Faith was born on October 8, 1930 in Harlem, a vibrant neighborhood in New York City. Her mother worked as a fashion designer, and her father was a storyteller who worked in construction. Despite the challenges of the Great Depression, her family managed to do well for themselves. Her parents valued education and exposure to the world, so they traveled frequently with their children. During the 1930s, Harlem was alive with energy and creativity. Just down the road, construction was underway on the iconic Empire State Building. The streets were filled with the lively sounds of jazz and swing music. Faith's neighbors included renowned jazz musician Duke Ellington and celebrated author Langston Hughes. Meanwhile, significant scientific discoveries were happening, most notably the identification of a new planet named Pluto. Faith had severe asthma and was mostly homeschooled during elementary school. For Faith, being homeschooled gave her the freedom to be more creative. She did all of her lessons just like the kids at school, and when she was done, she'd make art. On days when she was in the classroom, her teacher, recognizing her talent, made sure to give her art projects to do. On hot summer evenings, you could find Faith and her family hanging out on the rooftop of their building at Tar Beach. Faith understood early on that she would attend college after high school. She knew she wanted to share her story and to be heard, but wasn't quite clear on the path to get there just yet. She noticed boys getting off the train and going into the City College of New York down the street, and she decided she'd study art there when the time came. The only problem was, when the time came, Faith found out women weren't allowed to study art at the City College of New York. However, they allowed women to pursue a degree in art education. So that's what she did. While in school, Faith married and had 2 daughters. Even though the marriage didn't last, Faith pushed forward. She intended to show Michelle and Barbara the same strength and tenacity her mother had shown her. She studied with various artists and once said that Jacob Lawrence showed her what Black history painting should be. And even though she was told by a professor that a Black female would never be a successful artist, Faith persisted. After receiving her bachelor's degree in art education, she began teaching for the New York City public school system. She continued her studies and received her master's degree from City College in 1959. In the early 1960s, her passion for art led her, along with her mother and daughters, on a trip to Europe. Faith visited all the museums in all the cities and felt inspired by works of Pablo Picasso. Sadly, the trip was cut short and they had to return home. Faith's brother had passed away. Faith's broken heart healed a bit when she met and married her dearest love, Burdette Ringgold. Faith Ringgold had also decided that, while still teaching, she would pursue art as a profession. She started painting landscapes but was encouraged to focus on the scenes outside her door. Inspired by this advice and her desire to share her experience as a Black woman in America, she created several series in the 1960s. She also became a powerful voice for other Black female artists. Faith once said, "I wanted to be part of the struggle. I want to have a voice, and nobody was going to come around and knock on my door and ask, 'What do you think?' I was going to have to put my voice in, and I wanted my voice as an artist, as a visual artist. And that was difficult too because there was a number of artists who were political. But most visual artists during that period, the predominant art world was not political. It was very unpolitical." Pictured here are tonkas and soft sculptures that Faith did in collaboration with her mom, Madame Willie Posey. By the 1980s, Faith had retired from teaching full-time and began to focus more on her story quilts. She continued collaborating with her mom with the creation of Who's Afraid of Aunt Jemima? In the 1990s, Faith published her multi-award-winning book, Tar Beach, about a girl who learns to fly. Over the next 20 years, Faith published 20 children's books. Perhaps you've seen them in your local library. She also traveled, lectured, and displayed her art all around the world. Faith Ringgold said, "You can't sit around waiting for someone else to tell you who you are. You need to paint it or write it and tell your own story." And that's exactly what she did. The end.